Okay, and we are recording. So good morning and good afternoon again. Thank you for everyone who has been able to take some time to join us here on the call this morning. We want to do an official announcement of the latest software offering that we have from the 3D Capture portfolio with the Field Technology Group. So we have a new product out that we had discussed back at the business forum at the beginning of the year, and that's our extension for SketchUp. And the official title of the application is called Trimble Scan Essentials for SketchUp. So we're going to go through an overview of that product for it today. But before we dive into the overall product, I wanted to go ahead and provide you kind of a picture of the overall scanning software portfolio. I know there's been several questions that have been being asked of the regional sales managers around how all the different applications within our scanning portfolio work and how they're applicable to our different customer needs. So I want to provide some background around the positioning of each of the different products before we go into the product overview for Scan Essentials. So with the release of the X7 back at the beginning of the year, we introduced that as kind of being our project-based tool for scanning, in which we incorporated scanning around the use of Trimble Field Link and being able to capture things out in the field and be focused around providing these in-field deliverables of taking scan data, capturing it in the field, getting it registered, and then moving it on to the next step of the overall scan to BIM workflow. So this is really where we start everything around our scanning solutions. The idea behind the X7 is that we want to open up scanning to a broader customer base. So traditionally in the past with our scanning solutions, it's been more focused on scanning professionals, people with a high level of technical skills that have a very broad understanding of the scanning process. With the introduction of the X7 and using it through Trimble Field Link, we can now open it up to a broader range of users and make it more of a project-based tool to enable more use of scanning throughout the life cycle of a project. And so with the X7 and with Trimble Field Link, that's really focused around providing in-field deliverables. This kind of becomes your foundation of that scan to BIM workflow. So this is where you start. So for most customers, if all they want to do is go out to a job site, capture the scan data, get it registered, and then move it on to the next step of the workflow, this is all they need. This is where they start. But then beyond that, that's where we start to offer the other software applications that become more of a desktop application, where customers can start to do more with the scan data that they're capturing out in the field. And so the first step that you can take them into, if they want to be able to start to do more work with the scan data that they can't do inside of Trimble Field Link, that's where the Cloud Engine application comes into play. So this becomes a desktop application that allows them to start to do more types of analysis, publishing of the data, sharing of the data that they're capturing out in the field. And so again, this is meant to be, kind of project-enabled, a project software to allow more of these users that are coming into scanning to be able to start to work with the data beyond what they can do inside the Field Link application. And then as they progress in their understanding and the use of the scan data, if they want to start to do some modeling capabilities, that's where we start to introduce two solutions that they can use to start to work with the data to start to do the modeling. So within the Cloud Engine application, you have some basic modeling capabilities, but at this point, then you can introduce them into the SketchUp application. So with the new Scan Essentials for SketchUp application, now we can take data, push it into SketchUp, and provide a very easy to use platform that customers can start to use to create models that have the intelligence that are IFC type of models that can then be created in that platform and then push it out to the other project stakeholders. And then the last solution is RealWorks Advanced Modeler. So this is really kind of a specialty software that's focused around professionals, virtual design and construction teams, really people who want to be very advanced in their use of the scan data, or they're very knowledgeable in their use of the scan data. And so all of our advanced tools around modeling, so the automatic extraction, automatic classification, rendering capabilities, things of that nature, those are placed in the RealWorks Advanced Modeler package. So each of these software packages are intended to be kind of stepping stones to take customers that are coming in that might be new to scanning, that start with the Field Link application, and then you can work them into the overall life cycle of using scan data, taking it from capturing it and then moving it all the way up to creating models. So Just a little more information behind each of those steps. So again, with Trimble Field Link, this is really focused around being, best for those in-field deliverables. And this is focused around being able to just enable project teams with the key scanning tools that they need for construction. So again, like what I was saying at the beginning there, this really becomes that foundation for their scan to BIM workflow. And that's the whole messaging behind X7, is that it becomes, opening it up to a broader use of users around scan data. And then the next step beyond capturing data out in the field is that's where the Cloud Engine application comes into. So this is best for doing your analysis, your publishing, and your sharing of the scan data on the project. So again, this is there to enable project teams with key design validation tools, and this allows them to monitor the construction progress. So within this application, you have the ability to do your analysis, your collaboration, and any of the visualization. So you can do clash detection, floor flatness analysis, deviation analysis, load path planning, all these different ways of looking at the data to be able to then share with the project team to monitor, the overall progress of the construction site. And then with the Scan Essentials for SketchUp application, this is really best for then introducing customers into the modeling of scan data. So again, it enables the project teams, but with a easy to use platform to do modeling with the scan data that they're capturing out in the site. So then using SketchUp, they can do their constructability reviews, their site logistics planning, and then any of the models that they're creating within SketchUp can be exported out as an IFC model format. And the nice thing with the extension for SketchUp is that we can also support scan data coming from multiple sources. So the terrestrial-based scans, mobile mapping, or even scan data coming from drones. And then Trimble RealWorks Advanced Modeler, that's the package that we want you to promote around the RealWorks application. That's focused on being best for those advanced modeling workflows. So it's a specialty software for your virtual design and construction teams, and it's enabling those office teams with advanced scanning features. So this is where the automated modeling tools have been placed, the rendering tools, 3D inspection tools, and then the automatic classification of the scan data. So each of those software offerings basically provides stepping stones to help users, based off of their knowledge and their background for scanning, be able to start to build their scan to BIM workflow. So with that, I'm going to introduce Kyle Duchel. He's our new product manager for the 3D capture portfolio. If you guys haven't met Kyle yet, please feel free to reach out to him if you have questions around the scanning portfolio. Kyle and I would be your resources for any of those types of questions. But Kyle's going to come in and he's going to provide us with an overview of the Scan Essentials for SketchUp application. And then after we're done with the overview, we'll go through some of the information around the sales enablement materials that we've put together for you, and also some information around pricing, part numbers, and things of that nature. But with that, I'm going to hand the mic over now to Kyle.
Thanks, David. Yeah, good morning, everybody. So yeah, my name's Kyle. I started here about 7 months ago. So I had the pleasure to start with the X7 3D laser scanner, now moving into this application, the Trimble Scan Essentials for SketchUp. So it's been pretty exciting so far, for sure. So getting into this, David, would you like me to do a live demo for this section?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do a live demo on this slide here right now. Just kind of gives you a quick overview of what Scan Essentials for SketchUp provides for you. So it's geared around enabling the viewing of and modeling of the point cloud data within the SketchUp application. So Kyle's going to run through all the features for you. One of the materials that we'll be providing to you after the call today is a training video. It's about a 10-minute training video. And that's about all you need in order to get up to speed and start working with the application within SketchUp. So it's pretty exciting from that standpoint. But Kyle's going to do this live demonstration to walk you through all the features so you can become familiar with the application. So yeah, go ahead, Kyle, and you can project your screen.
Okay, you got it. Okay. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yes.
All right, very good. So this should be familiar. This is just SketchUp 2020, but this should not. So this is our Trimble Scan Essentials for SketchUp toolbar. That's what it looks like when you've downloaded the RBZ file and have installed it through the extension warehouse. I'm going to go ahead and load in a point cloud real fast just to show you that process. So you just hit open. It's going to ask you about your trial license. I've already activated mine. We do have a 30-day trial right now for everyone that you can go out and activate right now. So feel free to do that. And then we will have internal licenses soon for everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and say no. So when you load up your first project, it's going to ask you if you want to load in an E57, an LAS, or LAZ. So if I loaded in an E57, I would click on that, and it would start converting it into an RWP project, because that's the way that the software brings in the point clouds. But since I already have that file converted, I can just go ahead and click on my RWP file here. It's going to load it in. And as you can see, I've got my full point cloud here inside of SketchUp. So already pretty exciting. This is our SketchUp office in Boulder, Colorado. It's under construction right now, so we thought it would be a great example to kind of show that you don't necessarily have to have finished buildings in order to start modeling your point clouds. So now that this is imported, you will see all these toolbars up here, but the one that we really want to focus on is this button right here. This is the Pick SketchUp Point Clouds First. So when you click on that button, instead of being able to select point cloud or SketchUp entities first, now you're only picking point cloud points, so individual points. So if I go to my rectangle tool and I click on this wall, it's going to begin drawing on that wall, and it's using the points to create this rectangle. So if I just click on there, you can see that I've drawn directly on the face of that brick wall, only using the points. So now that I've done that, I can go up here and I can go back to picking SketchUp entities first. And using my push-pull tool, I can just pull this guy out. And I can then use the point cloud entity to snap directly to walls. So if I just quickly go through and snap to these walls, snap to the floor, I'm already on my way to modeling this building that quickly. So a few other options on the toolbar up here. You have different transparency levels. So if you're working on your point cloud and you want to just, hide it a little bit just so that you can see your model a little better, we have 75%, 50, and 0. So just turn the point cloud completely off. We also have conditional blending tools. Conditional blending just allows you to see only your modeled points over the point cloud. So this is with half resolution, and this is just with transparency. So you're able to sort of, on bigger models, it makes sense and is a huge tool, just because sometimes like you want to see the details of these windows, or you want to see the detail of the door. But if you have it in transparency, sometimes that's difficult to see on top of your model. And then you can unload the point cloud. Once you've loaded it into a project, let's say for this one, I called it the SketchUp Office for tutorials. Once I unload that, I can load it back into another project. Let's say if I open up, I don't know, a construction update file, then I can load it into that file. It's going to give you a little warning if you haven't unloaded it from another project that says, hey, you're about to load this into this project. It was on your previous project. You want to load this in? Are you sure? And you just hit yes. And then the newest and coolest feature, in my opinion, is the Point Cloud Manager tool. So when you open this up, you have a lot of different options. This looks should be looking similar to Trimble Field Link and RealWorks, where you're able to change your point size, obviously from small to ridiculously large. You can change the opacity, even though we have those presets here in the toolbar. You can change the colorization. So if I wanted to have a different color, if I wanted to see my elevation cuts, or if I wanted to see my stations, if I just wanted it white for some reason, or you can keep it in true color. So there's quite a few different options. Shading options as well, should be familiar with those. And then you do have the ability to have the see inside and the outline view. So if you want to get rid of ceilings and roof and all that, you can click on the see inside and the outline tool. What's also neat is that if you segment this out in RealWorks, and you bring it into SketchUp and you save all those segmentations from RealWorks, you can basically go here. You can turn off the main cloud, obviously, and then, like, let's say if I don't want all these plants and trees and dumpsters and all that garbage, I can go over here and just turn off all of that. So I have a much cleaner point cloud to work with. And if I'm zoomed out and I'm trying to click on a point cloud entity and it touches the tree or something and that messes up my modeling, then having it segmented really helps clean it up and helps you focus on what you're working on. Or let's say if I have the entire model and I want to see what it looks like with my plants, I can turn off my building and see what that would look like. Section cuts, so you're able to manage your section cuts in here. Sections are really nice because they can help you model any sort of interior stuff that you're working on. So if you're breaking it down into different areas of the building, then having section cuts to help you fly in a little easier really helps out a lot. And last but not least is our inspection tool. So I'm actually going to minimize this real quick, delete this box, and I'm going to bring back my model. So this is, if you guys watch the tutorial video, you'll this will look familiar. But if you go back into your inspection tool, turn on your inspection map. So now you can see that I'm able to see my inspection map with my point cloud. So you can see how well you modeled on top of your point cloud using the different tolerances. So all the way up from 200 millimeters to 500 millimeters, all the way down to obviously 1 millimeter. So a great tool to sort of quickly show you how accurate your models can be. So I also have another example of a project that I've been working on, which is Union Station. For those who live in Colorado, this will look familiar, but you can do it on large scale projects as well. So this is by far the largest one that I've been working on. But you can really get detailed with it. I used the point cloud tool the entire time I modeled this, and it was super easy to use. And again, those conditional blending tools really come in handy when you're working on fine details like the brickwork or the lettering. Just being able to see those details on top of your point cloud is super convenient. So we do take in large file sizes. It all depends on your RAM and, and GPU and your type of computer, but we've had guys bring in large files all the way from, 5-mile strips of highway using photogrammetry all the way to this file, which I think was like 5, 6, 7 gigs. So pretty impressive in the sense of the way that SketchUp's able to handle file sizes and the size of the models and the point clouds. One last thing I wanted to show you was our developer, Jacques Harvin, out of the Paris office. He was able to show me sort of this follow me tool using the freehand tool in SketchUp. So he's able to create this arch. I'll start the video for you. He's able to create this arch just using the point cloud entities. So as he traces over that arch and that little section in the middle there, it's able to snap directly onto it. And as long as he locks his axis in using his arrow keys, not sure how familiar everyone is with SketchUp, but if you lock in your axis, as you can see, his axis is hidden down here. You're able to lock that in on the point cloud and basically just have the tool follow those point cloud points. So I use that a little bit here in my Union Station model for some of the trickier detailing, like this overhang here. Kind of just quickly use that tool there. So again, it's a pretty open book. It's SketchUp, so you're only held by your imagination. You're able to create a lot more accurate models using this point cloud tool, and we're super excited to see what people are able to create and how creative they can get, what kind of point clouds they bring in, and what their daily uses of this will be. So that's pretty much it.
Great. Kyle, we had a question come in from Samuel, and he was asking about the colorization of the horizontal rainbow. So the steps there. He was asking, is there any way that you can kind of manage that, or is that just a fixed dimension or a fixed interval that's coming in at?
It's fixed. It's just like in RealWorks or Trimble Field Link. I think it's every time it repeats is every like 3 meters or 3 feet, something like that. But I believe it's fixed.
Yeah. Great. So we have a training video that Kyle put together. It's about a 10-minute video that goes through these steps as well, and that will be able to be shared. And actually, if you have a customer reach out to you wanting to see a demo of the application, I would recommend you share that video. Cassie has actually put together a link for us that ties back into our lead capture program that we could provide that link to you, and then you'll be able to share that with customers, and we'll still be able to capture the information from the customer as well. But provides a great overall demonstration of the application, as well as serving as a training tool. So Steve had a question come through, first feature request. So is that, Steve, was that in reference to Samuel's question?
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, so one thing with this application, so this is just the starting point of what we want to do with this inside of SketchUp. We had a pretty good beta testing of the application. We were able to get in with a lot of the SketchUp beta testers that typically will test SketchUp for them. So before the 2020 release of SketchUp, we were able to open up the extension to those beta testers as well. And so we got a lot of really good, useful feedback, quite a bit of feature requests and things of that nature. So we weren't able to get to all of them for the initial release, but we'll continue to develop the extension to start to put more functionality into it. But we're pretty excited about where we are right now with the application. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the slide deck here. So what you're seeing on the screen now is just the extension warehouse page. So if someone is interested in the product right now, they can go into the extension warehouse from within SketchUp, or you can also just type in extension warehouse in Google, and it'll pop up a link to the extension warehouse. But if you search under Scan Essentials for SketchUp or Trimble Scan Essentials, this is the page that will pop up for them. So it provides a little bit more information around the ability of what the application can do, and then this is where they will go to install the extension into SketchUp. One of the things that we do provide, though, is there's a technical note on terms of installing the application. So the best way and the easiest way to install extensions within SketchUp is just to do it through the warehouse. However, there is also a way of doing it manually if a customer wants to do that. So we do provide a technical note around what the requirements are for that, as well as the system requirements for their computers. So we're recommending the same system requirements that we recommend for RealWorks in order to be able to view the point clouds appropriately inside of SketchUp. So the last item that I wanted to go through is just some of the pricing and part number information. So right now, the best way to go through and get the application is to go through the extension warehouse. Or there's also on our field technology product page on buildings.trimble.com. We have a link there that provides information about the extension, and at the bottom of the page, there's a link that will take them either to the extension warehouse, which was the screenshot I was just showing to you, or there's also a buy now link. So if a customer is interested in just going ahead and buying it, they can purchase it there as well. And so what that does is it takes them to the e-commerce site through SketchUp. Now we will be providing a part number as well that you'll be able to use on your proposals for hardware. There's just a little bit more behind the scenes work that we need to do to make that work with the e-commerce site in order to enable that functionality, but a part number will be coming for you to use as well. But initially right now, go ahead and you can send and direct customers to either the extension warehouse or the buildings.trimble.com page. The list price for the application is $550 for the year. So it's a subscription, and it ties to their SketchUp license as well. So when the customer is purchasing it, the price will actually be prorated to align with the expiration date of their SketchUp license. So if they bought SketchUp 2020 in January and they end up buying the extension in June, the price will get prorated to align with that expiration date the following January. So that way, when a customer is renewing their SketchUp license, they can also renew the extension as well. Nice feature there. The extension itself supports either 2019 or 2020 SketchUp. And like I said, the part number will be coming for you shortly. Once we have that available, we'll issue out a sales bulletin with the ordering information for you. So some of the sales enablement material that we're going to be providing to you. We've got a product bulletin that kind of goes through the key features. We also have 2 videos that will get you access to. The one's the teaser video that you'll see on the product page on buildings.trimble.com. And then also the training video that Kyle put together. So that training video, again, is about a 10-minute long video. But that can be used if you want to give someone a demonstration, or if you want to be able to provide it to them as a training in terms of understanding how to use the application. We also have some screenshots available for you. I'll have a PowerPoint presentation in there with information that you can use. And then also there's a FAQ document that I'm putting together right now that's been generated through some questions that I've received working with the SketchUp sales team. So some useful information there as well. In terms of demonstration licenses for the sales team, we will be getting those available to you to use. Again, there's a little bit more behind the scenes work that we got to do to make that work with the new subscription process that SketchUp is using. But we will be issuing you demo licenses as well. Right now, if you want to start using the application, go ahead and go to the extension warehouse and activate the 30-day trial. By the time that trial expires, we'll have those demo licenses to you to keep using the extension. And then also for SketchUp in general, you're not for resale licenses have either expired or coming very close to expiring soon. I do have a pool of licenses for SketchUp Studio 2020 that I can issue out to the building points or any of our channel partners. If you're on the Trimble internal team, there's an internal Trimble license that you can get access to. But for the building points and the channel partners, please reach out to your regional sales manager, provide them with a list of the individuals that need to have the SketchUp 2020 license, and I will be issuing those for you. Anybody on the Trimble team, you can get access to that internal license. If you don't know where that is, reach out to me and I can provide you a link for getting it installed with the internal license. So with that, that's kind of all I had from a presentation standpoint. I've been seeing a couple of questions come through on the chat window. So we'll go in there and see here. Looks like, Kyle, have you been able to answer most of those questions, it looks like?
Yeah, but I can just repeat them for the recording if you'd like.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that?
So Anaid asked if you are able to turn on and off stations, individual stations, like you would in Trimble Field Link. You cannot, but when you segment out your data in RealWorks, it again comes in as those pre-saved areas. So like I had the whole building and then the exterior and plants in that SketchUp example. So I was able to turn off the plants and the exterior landscape and the dumpsters and all that stuff that I didn't want just by segmenting it out in RealWorks. And then when I brought in that E57 or RealWorks file, I was able to save those preset sectioned out areas, and I could turn them on and off. So while you're not able to turn off individual stations, you still are able to turn off areas that you don't want. And then inside of SketchUp, let's say you wanted to look at a specific room, or you wanted to look at a specific floor, you can create section cuts inside of SketchUp that will allow you to basically turn off those areas for you to model on top of because those points won't be available to view. Another question from Steve was any toolbars that we should be loaded on besides the Scan Essentials. And I don't show this in the video. I did for the beta group, but a few helpful toolbars for me were the large tool set. Just being able to see all the different tools you're able to use in SketchUp is a great start. The section tools, obviously, so you're able to create section boxes easier. And the views tab, which is those little home looking things on the top of the screen that I had, that enables you to basically snap to different views at exactly the right angle. So if you want to look at the front of the building, you click front and it snaps you directly there. So if you do need to trace something like a window or a door, at least you know that you're right at the front and you're not slightly high or slightly low. It really helps you when you're drawing.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kyle. So with that, we'll open it up. Are there any other questions that you guys might have right now?
Yeah, hey, it's Steve. Do you guys think this will help us with the XR10 and Sight Vision as far as modeling and then viewing quickly, either in a demo or just showing this mixed reality application?
Yeah, I would say it would definitely help. You know, with providing a quick way to get a model up and get it into Connect to go into the XR10. So definitely, I would pair it up with that application as well.
So Anaid asked, in RowWorks, you have a tool that creates horizontal vertical guidelines in SketchUp that is included. Why would this be necessary? So are you talking about like construction guides and like guide points and that sort of thing to help you model? Because we include guidelines and construction points as part of the toolbar for Trimble Scaling Essentials, just because we know that you're working with point clouds and there's a lot of data that you could be modeling on. So to have construction guides, like if you watch the training video, an important part of modeling on top of a point cloud is changing your axes, because if you start modeling based on the axes that SketchUp gives you initially when you import your point cloud, your whole building could be skewed. And when you use your arrow tools to lock in on the X, Y, or Z axis, it could be wrong. So like when I drew on that face of the SketchUp office on that brick wall, when I use my push-pull tool to pull out that wall, I'd have to change my axes there just so that way I'm modeling based on that wall and not based on the original coordinate system of SketchUp, if that makes sense. So then when you use those construction guidelines, assuming your building is square, you would use those to maybe help with the height of the windows to make sure they're all consistent. You could use construction points, like I used them on that Union Station project just for the spacing of different entities there, different architectural elements. So those are just quick tools that we include. They're nothing new to SketchUp. We just make them readily available.
Yeah, those are features that for SketchUp users, it's a given that they like to use from a modeling standpoint. So you'll find as you start to work in SketchUp that for me, I use the construction lines quite a bit, and so you start putting construction lines on all your different edges and planes and things like that, because it gives you something really easy to snap to. So for a lot of the power users in SketchUp, that just becomes a natural for them when they're creating the models, and so that's why those features are included.
Is there a large coordinate handling for like LAZ files from UAV data, or should we have customers export out to a local coordinate system of 000?
I haven't worked with that data. Kyle, what's your experience with that?
It does sort of just bring in the model based on sort of like your first scan station. Like when I brought in that SketchUp office, it brings it in basically just 0, 0. So if you have the axis when you first open it, it brings it just in like the positive coordinate system. We're sort of on the green axis, but I don't know about the exact
Yeah, so if they're using UAV data and it's in Northings and Eastings, just have them origin point it to 000 and then export it to SketchUp. Because yeah, sorry, just so it doesn't come in all the way away from 000. SketchUp has a problem with those large coordinate systems.
Yeah, that way you don't have to zoom out, 50 bajillion times.
So we had a question come in from Adi that says, does the point cloud get exported with the model when uploading the model to Trimble Connect?
And it does not. Trimble Connect for right now, as far as I know, doesn't support point clouds yet.
Only the desktop application has it, but when you go to export out your model from SketchUp, it's only the model that would be going out. So yeah. Cool. All right, well, we'll go ahead and then wrap things up here. Like I said, I will make this this recording available to you after the call here, and we will also be providing this as a with some sales enablement material for you as well. One question just popped in here from Samuel. Is this product only for FTG? It is also being promoted by the geospatial team. However, they're not going to have any part numbers or anything for that. They're just directing their customers to the extension warehouse to purchase it. So the product is owned by the Field Technology Group. Geospatial will have a link to the extension warehouse on their product pages, but their user base for SketchUp is relatively small. So they're going to provide a link, but Field Technology Group will also have the part numbers as well. So it's primarily focused for our group. Okay. All right. Well,
Anid just popped in a question there. I don't know.
Sorry, Anid. Yeah, it says, can you import any format of point cloud files? TDX. Kyle, you want to go through the point clouds that are supported?
Yeah, so we only support LAS, LAZ, and E57 files and RealWorks files. So if you're able to bring in a TDX into RealWorks and then export that out as an RWP, we would support it. But other than that, no, just E57, LAS, and LAZ.
And then Steve just popped in a question about, are we able to transact SketchUp licenses as well, or just the extension? Right now, it will just be for the extension. I'm going to reach out to the SketchUp team because we're going to discuss some bundling options as well. That I want to see if we can get access to also selling SketchUp licenses. But at this time, the part number that we'll be providing is just for the extension.
Yeah, if you guys have any other questions too, feel free to reach out to me or David, and we'd be happy to answer them.
Okay. Well, great. Well, thanks everybody. Appreciate your time. Stay healthy and safe as we continue to work from home. And yeah, like Kyle said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to one or both of us. So with that, thanks for your time, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you. Good job.
Thanks, David.
Thank you. See you.